This is Sue Bunch from Back to Back Fiber Products, and this needle felting demonstration will show you how you can make this little snowman ornament by needle felting. It's an easy project for beginners, and advanced felters will have fun with it as well. You can see about the size of it here, and it doesn't take too terribly long to do. And it's a fun thing to give as a gift, hang on a Christmas tree, put on a Christmas gift, give to a friend or a teacher. So let's get started. The materials that you'll need are some white roving, and it can be wool or alpaca, and so you'll need a pack of that. Then you'll need some accent colors of roving. You'll need black to use for the eyes, and for this little strip that I used for the earmuffs, a little bit of orange for the nose, and another color. I selected green here. On this one I used turquoise to use for the earmuffs. I'd also like to have a small piece of wool yarn if you want to have a way to hang it on something. I can show you how to add that. You'll also need your felting needle, a foam work surface, and you'll need a pair of scissors. When you get those things collected, come on back and we'll get started. The first part of our needle felting project is to make this little white felted ball for the head of the snowman. So what I like to do is to just pull off pieces of roving from my larger piece, just to make it easier to work with. I've started with 3 pieces, and they're probably 12 or 15 inches long. Doesn't really matter, but it's just the way I like to get started. Then going to lay it down, because we're just going to make, and to do that I just like to lay it down on the foam work surface here and start with my fingers rolling it up. And roll it up a little bit and kind of pull it in and tuck in the edges, because we want to make this as firm and tight as we can. So we're going to roll it up like that, and then as I go a little ways, I like to take my felting needle and kind of poke it into itself here and kind of tuck in the edges. Same on this side too, and of course be careful not to poke yourself. And continue rolling and holding it together by punching it in like that. And this particular part of the process takes a little while. Don't get in a rush, and just keep working. Now as you continue rolling and doing that, you can see how it starts to grow and get bigger. And as you get to the end here, just you can keep tucking the ends in. And keep punching it in, and keep rolling and tucking the ends in like that, and your ball will start forming. You can see now we've used up one of those pieces that I pulled off, and I'll just take a few minutes to kind of get it held together here, and it feels like a little cocoon almost. And just take your time to shape it a little bit and keep punching it to hold the fibers together. You'll begin to feel in your fingers how nice and firm it's getting. So work on that for a little while. Then take the next piece and start again. And keep rolling it up and punching it the same way until you start getting it to be about the size you want. You decide if you want it to be small or large, and we'll just keep working here. Now when you come back, let's see how yours looks. Now you may need to add a little bit more to the center to make it more round instead of more oblong like this, but this will get it started and get it close to the shape that you want for your little snowman ornament here. You can see just by that little bit that I've done, it's already started coming together. So work on yours, come back here in a couple minutes, and we'll see how ours are looking. Here's how my project has been coming along. I've been felting it now. I put those 3 strips together and I felted it so it's fairly dense here and still kind of oval shaped. And I want it to be a little bit bigger because I want it to be something similar to the one I have here. So I'm going to be adding a little bit more roving to it and to shape it out. And then I'll come back and show you how to put the different features on it and add the eyes and the nose and the earmuffs if that's something you'd like to do. So if you need to continue working on yours, go right ahead, and when we come back we'll talk about working on the features. We'll see you in a few minutes. To give a nice finish on the last layer of the snowman, I like the look of it to be sort of soft and fluffy, snowman-like, instead of making it too dense. Different projects require a different look, and that's up to you. This is just my personal preference. So I'm going to pull off little lightweight fluffs like so, and just gently punch it in. And you can see how it's coming together here. It's quite a little bit bigger than it was when I started out. And I'm going to add another few more layers just around and just tack it gently all the way around to make it nice and fluffy looking. And the next thing we're going to do is to show you how to make the carrot nose for your snowman. So after you've completed putting that fluffy layer on, come back with your felting needle and your orange roving, and I'll show you how you can make the nose for your snowman. Our little snowman face. I'm going to try to make it look like a little carrot, and it's just a matter of taking some of your orange roving and just lay it down on your foam work surface. And again, we're going to start rolling it up with your fingers to start with in a little tube, kind of like when you started rolling the white for the base. And then you're just going to start punching along here, along the edge there, and continue rolling it up. And continue punching it like that. And keep rolling it and punching it. Now, our little snowman face isn't too big, so you may not want this to be too huge. And so you decide, and then you can just pull off the extra that you don't want to use and start punching it together then. And just, you can roll it with your fingers along the work surface, and as you turn it, just continue punching. Watch your fingers so you don't get poked, and just keep working. And as you probably noticed, the longer you punch, the denser it becomes. So take a while and get it shaped so it looks like you would like it. If it's a little bit longer than what you want to start with, it's okay. We'll be able to cut that off and make it the size that you want before we put it onto the face of the snowman. So just keep working on it, turn it back and forth, and continue rolling it on your foam until it starts getting shaped into the look of a carrot nose that you'd like. The next thing you can work on at the same time are the eyes, and you can start working on the earmuffs. So just take off a little puff of black, and you can start punching that just right into the foam work surface here. Take your needle and kind of roll it around like that and punch it in. You might want to make a couple of different sizes until you decide what size that you want. Some people I've seen make a lot of little balls like this, and they use them for the mouth and kind of outline where the mouth is, like little pieces of coal like we used to put on our, I don't know if kids have that anymore, but sometimes people like to outline the mouth of their snowman that way. So you can see how it comes out here, and then you can turn it over. Watch your fingers so you don't poke yourself, and just keep punching like that until the eye starts forming to be about the size you want. You can do the very same thing to make these little discs for the earmuffs. And once you get those all finished, come on back and we'll put all these things on your head of your snowman and finish it up. Oh, I almost forgot. Bring your piece of yarn as well. See you in a few minutes. Now we're going to put the finishing touches on our snowman ornament. So we have the head completed. I finished the shape of the eyes, what I'm going to use for the earmuffs, what I'm going to use for the carrot nose, and here's my little piece of yarn. I've tied a little knot in it here, and I'm going to cut it off so it doesn't have such a long strings to it, and I'll show you how you can add that if you want this to be an ornament to hang on something. So just place it where you think is going to be the place where you're going to be hanging your ornament, and then we're just going to punch that fiber right into the ball and punch right in up to where the knot is, and do a good job with that and punch it nice and densely in here so it holds on real tight. And we're going to be putting that black roving over the top. Do you see? It's going to go over the top of that yarn so the yarn won't show. But we'll just get it tacked in here to hold it in place like that. And then we'll start putting the rest of the features on. The next thing I like to put on is the nose. And so it's a little bit long here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this part off and make it about, the nose be about this long. So I'll cut that part off and don't need to use that. And so I'll place it on the face about where I want it to go. And then just be careful, punch around the edges. And just do a careful job and take your time. Don't be in a rush. And get that all punched in there. And you can work on it a while. It'll get very tight and firm, and all the fibers will hold in together. Like that. Then you might want to place your eyes next. So I like to have them, you know, fairly close, but you decide. You might want to have little tiny eyes, really big eyes, two different sizes of eyes. This is a snowman, so it can be kind of whatever you want. And as you can see, as you start punching it in here, you'll be able to start doing some sculpting. And after I get the eyes punched in here and held in a little bit, and I'll get the other one placed here. Right there. This has really big eyes. There you go. And then as you start working here, you'll be able to see I'm going to start shaping the cheeks down here. And the more you punch, you can see the deeper it gets. You can create a crease right along there, and this can be the cheeks of the snowman's face. So you can punch down that way, and the same thing on this side. I'll punch a little bit more around the eye to get that to hold in. And then we'll punch down along here too. Just as you start in, you can see the more you punch, the deeper it gets. And you can shape whatever kind of a look you want for it. Then you decide what you want the mouth to look like. Maybe you want it to be a small mouth, a big mouth. You decide what you think you might want it to look like. If you want to give it a smile, but it's the same kind of thing. The more you punch, the deeper it goes, and then you'll be able to shape the expression that you want on your snowman. So just keep working along. This is the fun part. Everyone will have a different look to it. See, it's already starting to have a cute little expression to it. Then you can add your earmuffs if you like. Same thing, just lay them on here, punch them in. One on each side. And then, like so. Then your last bit is to take your piece of black roving and add a little bit across the top here to be what attaches to the earmuffs, and it can lay right across the top of the yarn that you laid there as your hanger, and take a little while. I'm doing it pretty quickly here just to demonstrate, but take your time, and the more you work, you'll be able to get a very fine, detailed look to your felting, and it'll be a fun thing to remember your project, and maybe a project you did with a friend or a family member, and maybe something that you shared with a special friend. So I hope you enjoyed your felting project. If you see any other interesting or have any other interesting ideas of projects that you would be interested in, take a look at our website. Send us some pictures. We always like to have them there. You might even see them up on our Facebook someday. Happy felting!